Okie dokie. Next video. Kind of knocking them out today. Playing around with all this wire loom that's turned into basically the consistency of potato chips. It's just breaking off everywhere. Look at that. It takes nothing to break it loose. So I'm gonna be cleaning all this up, getting all the old crap out of the way, and then relooming some of it and looping y'all in as I go. But for now, I'm going to clean up a lot of this older stuff. This guy's actually okay. This tape is all crappy. So since I'm redoing the others, I may do some of these that are okay, that you see right out in front of you, just to kind of keep the look uniform. Instead of having a little of this and a little of that. So I'm not putting black back on it because so much of this stuff is so cheap. My God, that's just disintegrated. That 9 out of 10 times you get stuff that instead of disintegrating like potato chips, it turns into a big melted mess. So yeah, I'm going to work on that. I'll check back in with you guys shortly. All right, bye for now. Okay, so I got all the little hooks loose. This guy was a matter of just pushing those tabs inward and it came loose. These others, you can see this is just, they kind of slip into one another. So if you lift this up, it comes off this hook. So I basically went through, and anything that felt crunchy, like that, this entire strip down the back wall there, down the back firewall, all the way looping around to the ECM, it was all crunchy. Down here, all this was okay. Coming off the battery, the line on the power, as well as on the ground down there, all that was all crunchy. Everything coming up to the fuse box was crunchy. These others down there seem okay for now. I'm not gonna mess with anything that's not crunchy at this point. The whole point is to get rid of the crunchy stuff. We're crunchy there. It looks like I might have to go back a little bit further. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna have to feel down in there. Down in the hole that's not focusing. It's wanting to focus on the battery. Oh, my eyeballs. There it goes, yeah. Down there. He doesn't feel crunchy as of yet, so I'm not going to worry with him. A lot of this stuff has been gotten rid of as time has passed. Like, nothing on these fans has any loom on them. So I'll correct as much of that as possible. That's my eyeball. He wasn't necessarily crunchy, but with what I'm doing, I'm introducing these guys. I've never used them before. I know this one is a different color, but they didn't have it in the kit. I won't use them unless I have to, or I'll use them in other areas, but he's nicer than the other one. So it was made by Alex Tech. They just didn't have a pack of all the sizes, and honestly, I didn't know what all I was going to get into. So I would advise you, if you're doing this and you want to use that type of sleeving, the Alex Tech, just by feels a lot better. See, that was a 3/8. The other kit, they all came together. And honestly, I didn't know how much, of the big stuff I was going to need versus the little stuff. So I wanted to be sure I had every size available. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, see, look at that. Nothing. No wire loom, no nothing. It's just gone. Just disintegrated. Look at this. Crunchy, crunchy. I mean, I've never had wire loom do this. It's just disgusting. I mean, it's not protecting anything. Oh, well, I mean, I guess it served its purpose. It protected it enough so it took the heat, nothing else did. So now we're going to give that stuff a go. This is the only bad thing. They shrink wrapped it, so it kind of got a little kinky. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's got decent, see how big it can get? So, Anyway, I'll fool with it, and I'll kind of loop y'all in a few strategic spots so you can see how to do it. I'm not going to do a whole video on how to, here, let's slide it on here and do and make y'all watch the whole thing. Nah, we're just going to pick some strategic locations. This will kind of be a before and after, and y'all can see what it looks like when it's done. All right, check back in later. Okay, while you're working with this stuff, if you find out you want to cut it, that's all well and good. Go ahead and cut it, but you're going to need to heat it so it doesn't unravel, because this is just plastic. So just want to heat your edges up like you do a nylon rope when you cut it, so it doesn't come unwound. So that's one little tip for you when you're working with these. All right, I've been fussing with it and working in the engine bay and getting it all done. I figured I'd give you a brief little how do you do these. They are a lot like the convoluted tubing in that they open up like this, but they're a lot less forgiving because the split wire loom just stays like this. These curl in on themselves, so they can be a lot more frustrating to deal with. But basically, just like anything else, you get your measurement. I went a little long there. You're going to get a nice sharp pair of scissors. You're going to cut the line you just cut, because this is like a vinyl rope. Again, as I said before, you're going to want to heat it so that it doesn't come unraveled. Now you're going to take your piece and you're going to put it on here. Now I made it a little bit longer so that I could tuck it into this other loom. But the fight you're going to have is you have to make sure that the same leg is on the inside the whole time and tucks around, and have the other one on top, because it wants to flip-flop itself as you're working, and that is a huge pain in the keister. All right, and you're going to get your itty-bitty zip ties. Hopefully these guys are just a scotch too short. All right, he's going to work for us. Maybe. Talk about, I'm taking it right to the limit. I try and recycle these guys when I can. And that one I didn't need to nip the end off of. But you see, we do that. And it does tend to make them a little bit stiffer. Let me see if I've got another little guy. Hang on. Okay. There's another little one. Oops. And now he's on the floor. Hang on. I'm being defeated over here by tiredness and gravity. All right. Put him on. And where's my clippers? Well, I don't have my nippers, but I can use those. All right. And I just kind of push him out of sight. And then we're going to take two more little guys and put them on either side. That's why it got dark all of a sudden. Sorry about that. Yes, I know I used a red one further up. It was just the thickest one that I happen to have on hand right there at the moment. The intake tubing is going to be in the way of it anyway, so it doesn't much matter. There we go. And then I run them around the back side. Okay, good thing I have the other light charging. But that gives you a general idea of what I've been doing across the whole engine bay. Not quite done yet, but I'll check in when I am and let y'all see it. But I wanted to at least do one in front of y'all. Hopefully my arm wasn't all up in your business too much. But there you have it. Okay. This is what you get when you're dealing with disintegrated wire loom and vacuum line and everything else. So here is pretty much it. I've taken care of all of the guys who are crispy critters and cleaned them all up. I was trying not to go too hog wild with everything. I may need to get back in there because I notice he doesn't have a loom on him, and that other one is looking mighty rough going around the corner. I don't know if I can make that bend with this stuff or not. I will give it a go and see. But beyond that, that's it for this relooming adventure. Of course, I'll loop in some video of everything once it's done and the intake's back on, so that y'all can see how that looks. So anyway, just wanted to go ahead and show you all that. Again, I wasn't trying to make that a crazy long video, but I wanted to get all the problematic children who'd gone crunchy. So we'll see how it looks when it gets all put together. All right, take care, you guys. Bye. All right, you guys, this is the fill-in for the wiring. You can see we've got the intake and the engine cover on, but I wanted y'all to see all the wire loom. It's not quite as obnoxious jumping out at us like it was with the intake and all that off. So it's just kind of, I wanted it to show that something had been done but be subtle, so that's why I chose the red and black. I thought that would be nice compared to the bright red wire loom that was so popular back in the day. And again, I just did what was messed up. I didn't go crazy, but yeah. So there's that, all completed.